Welcome to Know Your Mobile. I'm Basil. I'm here with the Google Nexus 10 and the Sony Xperia Tablet Z. This tablet is absolutely beautiful. It was just announced here at MWC 2013 and it is the business. 7.9 millimeters thick, water resistant, up to a depth of 1.5 meters, 30 minutes. Oh yeah, it gets our vote. The Google Nexus 10, however, packs an incredible screen. That 2560 by 1600 resolution simply shouts out, "Look at me," and indeed, even when you get up close, it doesn't crack under the pressure. But which tablet's better? Well, as far as the design goes, it is a no-brainer. Samsung make the Nexus 10, and while it's very good by Samsung standards, the Sony-made Xperia Tablet Z is incredible. We can zoom in on that thickness for you to give you an idea of just, if it'll focus, just what you can expect with that. There you go. You see that thinness is absolutely unreal. And so that's the same thickness as the phone. Really skinny. Glass fronted, that's it's a Dragon Trail glass. So that's super scratch resistant, 6 times stronger than glass, blah 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 blah. On the back, you have a very gorgeous matte finish, and it's a glass fiber material. Really rich to the touch. Makes this whole thing feel like an e-reader, even though you've actually got a quad-core tablet in your hand. Very impressive. The Samsung the Samsung-made Google Nexus 10 isn't quite as premium feeling, and it's considerably heavier as well. It is very ergonomic though. It's curvaceous and it's very grippy. As far as design highlights go, it packs an HDMI out, so you can connect it if you've got a micro HDMI cable, and won't have to purchase an MA shell cable as on the Xperia's Tablet Z. Other ports in the Tablet Z include a 3.5mm jack on the left, power button, volume rocker. Down below you've got two speakers either side, so that's 4 speakers in total, giving you stereo sound, but a very three-dimensional stereo sound. You've also got a micro SIM slot. This thing is LTE capable. It's also got a micro SD card slot, and on the right hand side, no buttons whatsoever. Up top you've got a IR blaster. That means this thing is a remote control. Flip it round, 8 megapixel camera, NFC point, and Xperia logo. The Samsung made Google Nexus 10 is, as we said, packing an HDMI port, micro HDMI. Also got micro USB, 3.5mm jack, power button and volume rocker up top. And on the reverse is a 5 megapixel camera. Now onto the screens. Both are gorgeous. Full HD 1080p, 2560 by 1600, 1630. Really incredible. You're going to see some slight pixel breakdown when you get very close to the Sony Tablet Z, but it really isn't going to be affecting you if you watch it at tablet distance, which is just slightly less than arm's length roughly. It really is a beautiful display, powered by Sony's Mobile Bravia engine too. However, the Google Nexus 10 does win in this one. Text just looks a little bit crisper. Both are really bright, both are really punchy and vibrant. In fact, we'd almost be inclined to say that the Sony Tablet Z maybe looks a little more vibrant, but that might be down to the optimized videos on board really showcasing it beautifully. Ultimately though, if you get either, in terms of screen, you're going to be winning. We're leaning towards the Samsung-made Google Nexus 10. Right, now onto the user interface, and Sony pack their own customized version of Android 4.1, so it's still Jelly Bean, but it isn't Jelly Bean 4.2, which saw a huge upgrade to the tablet experience. That upgrade can be seen on the Samsung Galaxy, on the Samsung Nexus 10. God, I keep saying Galaxy, just rolls off the tongue. So the Google Nexus 10 packs these 2 bars up top. On the left side you've got a notifications bar, on the right side you have a quick settings bar. All very stock look and feel. This certainly feels like Android ice cream sandwich and not like Android honeycomb. And so the tablet experience has been unified beautifully with that of the phone experience. As for the Xperia Tablet Z, this experience is ultimately skinned. A lot of people won't like it. A lot of purists out there will really miss the stock Android experience and just long to throw it back onto this gorgeous tablet. However, most people will quite like what Sony do. We say that from a place of love. Don't get us wrong, we're not hating on you Android fanboys out there, but Sony do pack some very nice stuff in there. If, for example, you change the theme, you also change the wallpaper. You can see this adds a very nice touch. The wallpaper's become very cohesive with the look and feel of the whole phone, ultimately making for a fantastic all-round experience. You've also got these small applications. These enable you to do a bunch of stuff on the screen while you're actually getting on with other stuff, and they just stay there in the background, kind of like with Samsung's floating video window, but Sony did this first. There also is a very, very attractive multitasking pane, which gives you the thumbnail view, and it also gives you, as you can see, an illustration of the actual application. Very, very nice, attractive UI, really thought through. The App Store is much, much more flexible. You can arrange apps in your own order, and you can arrange them by most used, which is something we really, really like. Ultimately, therefore, whichever you prefer is going to be down to you. We kind of like both, we're not going to lie. Although naturally most people won't have the luxury of being able to use both devices. So for you Android fanboys, it's a Google Nexus 10 all the way. For anyone who wants a little bit more of a modified experience, it is markedly more premium than any other skin that we've seen out there, tablet skin, on the Sony Xperia Tablet Z. Now on to cameras, and the camera on the Xperia Tablet Z wins out every time. There's no real point going through pictures and whatnot, because you've got that 8 megapixel Sony Xperia sensor with Superior Auto. Superior Auto knows if you're reading text. You can see it just flipped out to document. It knows if you're going to a landscape view or whatever. As you can see, it's picked up a face there of someone who is just walking past. Really, really smart, makes decisions for you and makes the right ones 99% of the time. That said, on the Google Nexus 10, it is the best Google camera UI you have because of Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean just really, really enhances the camera thanks to its long press integration. If we long press, for example, we can tweak a whole host of elements right out of the box. There's no HDR, unfortunately, but for most needs and purposes, the Google Nexus 10 will suffice. Internals include 16 or 32 gigabytes on the Google Nexus 10. The Sony Xperia Tablet Z, we're not actually sure how much it packs inside, though it does pack micro SD support. We can quickly jump into the settings, tap on storage, and you can see you've got 16 gigabytes of internal memory. So micro SD expandable by an additional 64 gigabytes means you're going to get absolutely oodles of storage space on there potentially. Ultimately, therefore, processors, Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 1.5 gigahertz, as with the phone. On the Samsung-made Google Nexus 10, it's the A5 chipset, which powers along a ridiculous, can't remember the model number of the GPU, the Mali GPU, but gaming performance on it is superb. Anyone into image editing as well, it handles multiple image editing processors beautifully. Both tablets, again, not really going to waver in terms of performance. It's not that neither are the newest processors out there, i.e. the Qualcomm 600 or the Tegra 4, but they're still fantastic performers with 2 gigabytes of RAM in each. So there you have it. We're not in a position to comment on battery life because we haven't reviewed the Tablet Z, but in terms of everything else, both tablets are strikingly good. The Sony Tablet Z wins out in terms of design. It also wins out in terms of UI for people who want more of a catered experience. In terms of stock Android, the Samsung-made Google Nexus 10 wins out naturally, and it will be the first tablet to get Keyline Pi when it is announced, with the Sony tablet being a version behind already. And what you can also expect on the Google Nexus 10 is the incredibly sharp screen. Hope you've enjoyed our comparison. If you've got any questions, please feel free to fire us a comment below. I've been Basil. This has been a Sony Tablet Z and a Samsung-made Google Nexus 10. If you've enjoyed this video, click like. If you enjoy this channel, you know what to do. Just subscribe.